Good afternoon and welcome to Breakfast with Ignite. We have a very special show for you today. We have not just two, but four people on the show. Two of our guests are from digital asset management. We have Philip and Thomas.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. You're very welcome. And we also have Damon. He's not a guest. He's on the show every week.
I'm part of the furniture. I'm over here.
But
I'm over here.
He is here again. So today we're going to be talking about what is holding crypto back from becoming this massive growth story that we experienced last year. What's been holding it back in 2018? Where is it going to go as we now approach 2019? That year went by real quick. So where are we going to see this whole industry heading? What's holding it back? What does the future hold? And we're going to have an open discussion today about this. And everyone comes from a different background. David comes from a legal background. And then we have these two guys, which is a mix of legal and technical and trading as well. So should be a very interesting conversation. And let's get it going. So, Phil, what do you think about crypto and how's your feeling on the market these days?
Sure, I think I should open with when you said, right, we're going to be discussing the market before I came on. As with my legal hat on, I was like, I'm trying to refrain from any indications. But
you don't want to give legal advice? You mean for listeners? No?
Legal advice, yeah, sure. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, over the past year, it's been really, really interesting. I mean, just today we've seen, yesterday we saw the kind of around 10% drop. And that's just on price action. But over the past year, we've seen a lot of interesting projects coming out, good development. But what I'm starting to see, and I was mentioning it to you before, is a bit of a convergence between, the hardcore crypto slash academic group, and then even within that, you have a division between the hardcore group, and then you have the people who are interested solely in the investment opportunity as traders, and then separate to that, you've got people in the traditional finance side trying to utilize blockchain technology or tokenize existing financial instruments and markets. So I think we're going to start to see over the next, from now on forward, we're going to start to see a further fragmentation of what crypto actually is. I mean, at the moment, I just see crypto as cryptocurrencies and everything that's kind of coin cap related. But then we're going to start to see a bit of a split as to more application of DLT.
So do you think maybe up to now it's just been kind of a easy way for guys to make money, throw some money into crypto and get a nice return, and then they obviously become enthusiastic about it because, hey, they're making lots of money?
Well, yeah, for some. I mean, when I got involved, it was a lot more academic, and that was what I found interesting. It was a very good community side to it, very open and welcoming, and the good thing about it is that you could always speak to the very good names. This is kind of 2016.
Yeah.
You could speak to pretty much anyone. Get a very good insight as to their view on the tech. And price action was never really discussed.
So I think this is I think what we've discovered. Okay, let's talk about what Ignite's discovered over the last 12 months or 18 months since the very first inception of the project, which is, I think we made a mistake in the assumptions we made back in early 2017. We assumed that let's call it cryptocurrency, the DLT space, was a breeding ground for innovation and tech, and it was an awesome environment with which to create a startup business, and everyone was all about the tech and all about improving the state of play. Couldn't have been more wrong. It turns out that 80% of the people, 90% that were involved were literally the guys who were jumping on the bandwagon because a friend in a bar had told them the year before, 2016, I've made 20% on Bitcoin this year, and everyone was just trying to do the same thing. So all of the stuff we were trying to improve, which was the state of the art in terms of professionalizing the space, making sure we've got a community where people are scrutinizing projects, they're scrutinizing white papers, they're holding people to account. We thought, I still believe there is a need for it, and I think there is a desire for it, but we thought the desire for that product and that kind of professionalism of the space was much more far-reaching than it is. I think there are a lot of people who were making the right noise. They saw, a guy in a Telegram chat. They see a guy in a Telegram chat asking a question about what token protocol do you use, and then they try and copy him in the next chat. And when somebody they go, oh, why aren't you using ERC20? But they don't even know what ERC20 is, and the fact that it's a fundamentally flawed token protocol. They don't actually appreciate any of that kind of stuff. It was literally follow the leader. It was mimicking. It was parrot fashion, and it was just all speculation. I think.
I think you're 100%
And I think that's a shame, because I think there's been some, and I can't ignite within this, obviously I would do, I'm biased, but I think there's been some truly innovative projects in the space over the last 12 months, which might actually die or have to be put on ice for a couple of years, because I think we all made the wrong assumption. We all thought the space was full of passionate entrepreneurs who are using innovative tech and innovative fundraising techniques, which is an important part of the space, to build these great projects. And it wasn't. I just think there were so many more speculators in the market than we realised.
Yeah.
Sort of casual retail guys. I've compared it. I don't want to talk with anyone talking, but I often compare it. And I've compared it on the show before to the online poker industry. There was a massive boom where for 2 years everybody suddenly was a poker pro. Everyone was playing poker, and then people's bankrolls fell away and they lost the money and they didn't want to top them back up again, and the industry took a dive and it's still declining to this day. And I kind of see that same thing happening now, but accelerated for the crypto space.
So you would say that you think that the number one thing holding back crypto was maybe the participants thinking of it as quick, immediate profit, get in, make a bunch of money, and then once that kind of stops...
Yes, because it wasn't adopters. We're not talking about technology adopters. We were talking about speculators.
Yeah.
I think that's just one view.
I tend to agree a bit with that. Completely.
Yeah, so I just agree with that. We said earlier before the show, we had a lot of people that saw, hey, I made X amount by investing in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But Bitcoin is a currency. And,
Exactly.
And okay, so you made some money because, the scarcity of that asset declined because more people
It's
have
digital
them.
gold, literally. I mean, that's what it is. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and this is the thing, we've already, I'm just reiterating what we've just said, and then everybody started investing in other projects thinking that the same thing would happen, when really, the utility tokens, they're not meant to do that. They're not meant to make you money. I want to use like Civic and Basic Attention Token as an example here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then why hasn't things carried on going up? Well, in my opinion, it's technology. Technology isn't advanced enough for Civic as a token to be used widely. That needs to be on every single person's mobile phone.
Of course.
But we're not there yet.
No.
And same thing with Basic Attention Token. We need that browser. We need Brave browser on every single computer. It needs to be up there with Firefox and Google. Right now, it's not, but it's getting there.
Yeah.
So what do we need? I think we need to improve our internet networks. We need 5G everywhere. We need places like Africa, obviously, to India to improve their infrastructure. We need better security on our mobile phones. Soon enough, mobile phones will be redundant. We're probably going to be all using, Apple Watches or similar.
Yeah.
So we need that advance in technology, I feel, for the crypto space also to have a marriage. I sort of feel the crypto space is too advanced right now, and it's technology that needs to now catch up.
Interesting perspective. I thought of that angle.
It's allowed the kind of like economic, kind of socioeconomic. That's what we have at the moment. That's what ICOs were. I mean, it's this new socioeconomic theory that you can tokenize utility, and it's just being able to apply that. When the adoption and the technology is there to support it.
We're talking about, I like to use the phrase programmable money.
Yeah.
Or you can extend it further, programmable assets.
Yeah.
So that's all digital. And what do you need for that? You need the internet. Where do you need the internet then? Everywhere. Because where are assets? Where is money? It's everywhere. So we cannot afford to have some restaurants without Wi-Fi.
Right.
We cannot afford to have some hotel rooms without Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Everything needs to be connected, and technology needs to advance more. We need to be living in the future.
Right.
And that's...
Yeah, absolutely. And it comes back
to utility comes.
I mean, Tom's been a bit ill this week, so he wasn't in earlier in the week. But I mean, an office theme we've had this week has been kind of non-fungible tokens.
Yeah.
And really, where we should be looking to next, talking about crypto.
I'm a big fan. Again, coming from the tech perspective.
Yeah.
That's where I think there's like things like Engine, for example. There's a lot of stock and a lot of mileage left in projects like that.
Yeah, because that will be kind of the first phase of adoption of utility or tokenized economies into society in a digital space. Because trying to tokenize real world assets is incredibly difficult. So we're going to be seeing it first in a digital space, firstly in gaming, and then other forms of digital property.
No, you're right. And that's a great way to foster adoption.
Photos,
as well.
he loves royalties as an example.
Yeah.
He loves it.
Yeah. You know, just wait until Spotify, iTunes,
Yeah.
I don't know, Getty Images.
Yeah.
Once Getty Images, all the images are on the blockchain, and they could get royalties for every single time it's used on an online news magazine, post, or whatever it is. You know, those royalties will be distributed in real time to Getty Images as a central agency and owner of those photos.
Yeah.
And then that actually starts to change the life of the average Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the big problem with all these blockchain projects right now. It's all infrastructure. It's all kind of these things that really haven't made a difference in anyone's life. You know, I mean, like the internet, another example. You know, it had its bubble. It popped, kind of went down a lot. You know, and then it took a while for it to get to where it is today. But the difference with the internet is the day that thing was turned on, it started changing your life. Right?
Yeah.
You could do email. Now you don't have to go to the post office and put stamps on things anymore. You could start buying, you know, electronics online. You can start doing everything. I mean, everything you do now today.
But even that realistically took 10 to 15 years before we had a mass adoption.
It did.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
my point was that from day one, it started to make
But
a
things have
difference.
accelerated now, so 10 to 15 years now is maybe 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
But it started to make a difference in the average guy's life.
Yeah.
Whereas blockchain has only made a difference in the lives of people who were looking to raise money from blockchain investors.
Yeah, this is where I think Philip and Thomas are right. Actual tokenized economies rather than just utility tokens. And I actually hold Ignite out as just a utility token. What Ignite is really, we don't represent a tokenized economy. We are basically a resellable subscription. That's, if you want to,
Yeah.
in its most basic form, that's what Ignite is. But access a platform, you need Ignite. If you're done with your Ignite, you can sell your Ignite. It's that kind of thing. Whereas, actually tokenizing in-game assets and appealing to, I don't know, let's take World of Warcraft. I was about to say, just pull out there, World of Warcraft. They've actually done quite well already in establishing a secondary market for that platform. That tokenized in a regulated way, in an immutable, well, it doesn't actually need to be regulated necessarily, but in an immutable way, that 10x's that economy.
Yeah.
And it actually creates a revenue stream for game developers. And actually, there's been a discussion on the Ignite platform recently about Engine Coin. And one of the users I thought was really interesting, was saying that you could actually visualize a future in the very, very near future where games don't cost money anymore. Everything's downloadable, everything's free. The game developers make their money from fees on transactions like the exchanges do now.
Yeah.
Why not? It's a brilliant idea. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. You buy this sword and it costs that fee.
And it's a 1% fee. I mean, why pay it to Coinbase? Pay it to Blizzard, you know?
So I think that's the first immediate use of you know, kind of utility or kind of tokenized economies. We're going to starting to see other things. It's starting to happen in the financial instrument space. It's just doing it for real world kind of financial instruments.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, we'll see where that's going. I mean, just to give a background.
That's where we are now. We're on the cusp of the STO and all the rest
Backgrounds
of it.
to us and our company, at the moment we're just doing, you know, brokerage of crypto to fiat, cold storage, custody and discretionary portfolio. But we see ourselves going forward as a bit more of a hybrid financial services business. We're going to have to sit in between whatever the future looks like for this utility kind of space, and then you know, alongside existing financial services.
So
we're not there yet. We're not doing that yet.
But I mean, in Thomas's future, you could be cold storing swords.
Well,
That's an unfungible example. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where I see. I don't know when or how, but that's.
But fine art, you know, real estate.
Yeah, we've spoken about fine art. We've spoken about, you know,
Real
prestige
estate,
cars and fine wines. I mean, we're having the wine vault put in Gibraltar, and one of the very early projects we thought about was tokenizing that collection somehow and all the rest of it. So I think it's exciting times. But in terms of going back to, maybe we've gone off on a little bit of a tangent, albeit a very interesting one. Going back to Chris's original question though, like what's holding back the industry now? I mean, utility tokens and
technology.
non-fungible and that side of things aside, and technology side. What's stopping Bitcoin? What's stopping Ethereum? What's stopping? I don't really want to say EOS, but what's stopping EOS? You know,
I think also governments getting on board. Governments to make an announcement.
My next sort of question for Philip, albeit that I'm conscious we're probably running out of time. But my next question for Philip really is, as two lawyers sat here, do you think? No, we'll keep it highbrow. But no, in terms of, I mean, do you feel that the governments of the world, and you guys as well, obviously, are doing enough to actually give people enough confidence to invest into this market. There's a lot of people right now who were the speculators last year who thought they knew it all. Most of them are probably under the age of 17, if we're being honest. Burnt their fingers and now don't want to come anywhere in the industry again for another 5-10 years until they've got disposable income or whatever it might be. So,
government layer, I don't know.
Regulation's important.
It needs to homogenise. It needs to kind of be a bit more standardised. And if that isn't the case, then let's go to gaming. That was an example.
Yeah.
It's either you leave countries to do it state by state, or you don't regulate. But in this sector, I mean, you have to try and maybe take a bit more of a standardized approach. I don't know the answer because there's so many different blockchains.
I think maybe there's too much competition in between the territories currently. Maybe Malta and Gibraltar are too in competition with each other. Maybe they should be looking for a more unified front in terms of how they introduce the legislation, what the legislation says, what they're looking to regulate. Maybe there should be some cross-jurisdictional body that helps.
Adoption. I think adoption will dictate the regulation.
Yeah.
And we're still at the very early stage where there's a million variants of what things are being used for.
Of course.
So how do you regulate something that's
absolutely
so diverse?
And I think that's
a good approach. It's very wide.
I do think that's an important point. And I'm not to criticise Gibraltar's approach though, or that of any other government of any other jurisdiction. I do think though that the gaming example you use there is a good one. I think it needs any kind of regulation needs to be a much more collaborative process. And I think from what I've seen in Gibraltar, it's been very much the government and one or two law firms dictating what the regulation is going to be. And I think the industry itself has been largely ignored. Whereas when the gaming companies first moved here 15 years ago, their compliance guys were helping draft the legislation. And I think more of a holistic approach, including those who are actually in the space, would be more interesting.
Yeah, it's happening. Yeah, I know we're running out of time, but we got the association that's being set up and launched next week. GANTS, Gibraltar Association of Media Technologies.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a good first step locally. Depending on how truly sustainable those participants in this local market will be, that association can go on to deliver on some of those.
So, did you get the answers you were looking for, Chris?
Oh well. Kind of, yeah, I think so. I think the main takeaway from this whole discussion is really that there's a immature industry that was really thriving on the back of largely hyped up growth and speculative investments, which is now kind of maturing, and we're entering a phase where the governments are starting to say, "Hey, you need to start putting best practices into place to make sure this is sustainable," which is exactly what we were saying over a year and a half ago. Damon and I were saying, this is not sustainable. You cannot have a guy on YouTube who makes a webcam video and has 50,000 followers that influences people to buy, millions of dollars worth of some token. That doesn't make any sense.
And yet here we are.
So it is. I think it's just an evolution of where crypto's been. It went through a high growth phase, and now it's going into the maturing phase where it's slower, and the growth is going to be slower. We needed that sell off. I think it was important. It's painful, but it was important to get rid of all these speculators and weak hands out of the market who were in just for.
Maybe it does now. Maybe that does turn into move back towards an adopters market.
I think that's really what I think. The guys who are in it now, and I think that's why we saw such limited volume, is the people who are holding on to crypto. Hey, I'm not going to sell. I'm just going to hold on to it.
I can't count myself in that number. Yeah.
And then you got the other guys who are saying, "Well, I'm only in it for the money, and I'm out." Right? And they're gone. They're now all gone. But I think the other important thing to notice is there is no buy side volume.
No.
Very, very little.
We're not just talking about altcoins and ICOs. We're talking Bitcoin. We're talking Ethereum. The volume is so shallow.
It's nothing. On OTC, I know that there is big volume.
Yeah.
But in the public markets, the public exchanges, which are used by the retail traders, there is hardly any volume. So what that really means is that the retail interest is not in it on a buy side at all. So I think all those guys are out of the market now, and we do need new blood to come into the market, whether that be institutional guys who are the so-called smart money, or maybe bigger companies, bigger corporates who are interested in using the technology in some sort of fashion, and they're going to use one of these new blockchains that are been invented.
Yeah,
I think that that is where the growth might start to come from, at least in 2019. But then, of course, there's a regulation side, and no one wants to make those big investments in unregulated market.
M&A activity is picking up, and it's a lot of the private buy side and the private deal flow that's going to be
So
interesting.
this is the next one. This is what I, just really quickly. This is what I'm expecting now.
Yeah.
Because we will have the next 12 months these projects that raised, I don't know, X million last year. Suddenly go, oh pants, maybe we shouldn't have bought that private island. You will see some consolidation. That wasn't us, by the way. We didn't buy a private island.
I wish we did.
Property would have been good. I think you will see that consolidation. I think you'll see the Coinbases picking up all these interesting little projects, or the Binances, or whatever. Binance have already started doing it. So, yeah, Circle as well. I mean, Circle started this. Circle started this. Then they got too professional and they got completely disinterested in crypto. And now all of a sudden they're back. So Circle's one to watch, definitely. I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. I'm just happy that the price action is kind of, for me, is a bit of a sideshow. I think we need to see the development of the technology, and obviously we want to facilitate the price action. That's the purpose of business. But at the end of the day, that represents the value of the underlying thing.
Do you have any
Parting words of wisdom?
shout outs?
Well, I was just going to say that although, we probably do need new blood, I think a key word here is reinvigorated blood. Have trust again that things are going in the right direction.
To get the other guys back.
Yeah, and to everybody listening, I would urge them to go to, I believe it's the blockchain graveyard, and have a look at all the ICOs and all the projects.
I was actually looking at that website just this morning.
Were you?
I was actually, funnily
Because
enough.
it's quite good to watch and see the reasons why it failed. And
actually,
done.
what's quite interesting about that as well, they also include, if it's the same website I was looking at, maybe it wasn't, they also include mention of projects which are still running, but that have lost massive tranches of value due to wallet hacks and all the rest of that. Literally, see where your money is going.
And there you'll have your reason why of the market declining and maturing, and it's going to get better.
Good. All right. Well,
Thanks for joining us, guys. Philip and Thomas from DAM Gibraltar. DAM.GI?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. They've got a plug. Didn't pay for that yet. Thanks for joining us. I enjoyed that. It was quite an interesting little chat. I wish we could carry on for an hour or so, but these guys haven't got that attention span. I mean that in the nicest possible way, but you haven't. I don't either. So Chris has already fallen.
I've already.
Do the usual YouTube stuff. Subscribe, like, share the video. Visit DAM.GI, see what these guys are up to. It's super interesting. I suspect they'll be on the show again and again because they're just down the road and they're an easy sell. But thank you for joining us, and
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, guys.
have a good weekend. Otherwise, cheers. Bye.